Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'd like to talk about Crisis on Earth X, the recent CW Flareoverse crossover. And I guess I'll give you the brief summary of my review, and then I'll talk about details and kind of give a disclaimer and whatnot. I had a lot of fun watching it. There are some wonderful, wonderful character moments, but there were far too many plot holes and points that I felt were politically motivated that didn't serve the story. It really seemed like the producers and writers just weren't paying much attention or trying too hard in some areas, so I'll talk about that. I'll go over the positives in a second. I do want to say that I know that a lot of people online are pretty much predetermined as to how they feel about the CW shows, and that tends to carry over as how they feel about any episode or event or whatever. You have the diehard fans who just, love it all. And then you have the people who have an issue with it, the people who hate on Oliver and Felicity, people who think the Flash is too formulaic or whatever. So my own feelings about the universe in general is I do enjoy watching the shows, except for Supergirl. Supergirl has become far too preachy. I don't really get much story. All I get is these scenes where someone can give a political speech, and Supergirl herself has become a little too abrasive and annoying for me in that respect. So I did give up on that show, just me personally. But I do still watch the other ones, and I adore Legends of Tomorrow. In fact, it's one of my two favorite television shows on television right now, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Legends of Tomorrow. I think I'm the only person ever who chooses those two shows to hype as their favorite ever, but that's the case for me, so I'll be unique. So I do love Legends of Tomorrow, and I'll talk a little bit about, maybe I should do another video on Legends of Tomorrow, why I think that show gets such a great treatment by its writers and producers, and of course the cast across the Flareoverse I think is wonderful. There's no one I think is a weak link in the cast. But so talking about the Crisis on Earth X, specific positives. First of all, the character chemistry. They've got that to fall back on at any point. They're actors working together, so the character chemistry, but also the cast chemistry, that just works. You can put them in the same room together, and it works because of the actors. It also works because of all of the character relationships that have built up over the years through these universes. So you have wonderful moments like when Mick Rory comes into the wedding and sits next to Captain Singh, and Captain Singh's like, "Don't I know you?" Of course he knows you, because he's arrested you. You've been like a major felon, in the city. And that was a great moment. And then Mick, asking Caitlin, "Didn't I kidnap you once?" and stuff like that. So wonderful little character moments, wonderful chemistry going on. It's just fun to see the characters together. It just is fun. Doesn't even have to have a plot yet. Just put them in the same room and that's fun. Another thing I thought that was really well done was the Alex and Sarah hookup. So Alex, Supergirl's adopted sister, and Sarah, the White Canary from Legends of Tomorrow, it's already been established that Sarah's bisexual, like from the get-go when she was still on Arrow, and it was an actual story point. It was a plot point. It wasn't just a gratuitous thing that they were trying to push a social political agenda. It really mattered to the story because Nessa Al Ghul, it determines how she treated her and stuff like that. So that's an established thing. I do feel like the Alex thing was forced and kind of coming out of the blue in Supergirl, but whatever, it's established now. And at the character progressions that they're both at right now, Alex having just broken up with Maggie, her fiance, and Sarah, not really in a huge emotional turmoil right now. It's been a while since her sister and stuff, but still, Sarah being Sarah, it made perfect sense that those two would find each other at that rehearsal dinner and totally hook up. It was totally believable, made perfect sense, and it set up a nice character arc for them in the crossover, for Alex in particular, because she's still trying to process the loss of Maggie and if she did the right thing or not, and Sarah's able to help her accept that yes, she did. So that was a way to do something like that really services the story and isn't gratuitous. So I really appreciated that. The final battle, of course, was wonderful, seeing all the characters doing their own unique powers and having their own little moments. That was great. And I love my favorite characters in the entire Flareoverse are Ray Palmer's Adam and Nate Haywood, Citizen Steel. And Ray Palmer had the absolute coolest intro ever in of any character, I think, in a crossover. That was just brilliant. It was a little miffed that those characters didn't come in until the 4th episode, but that's just me personally, because I love those characters. They're my favorites. So just a personal taste there. I think the biggest plus, though, the thing I was just so impressed with and was just really blown away by, writing-wise, performance-wise, and everything in this crossover, was the Professor Stein story arc. And again, spoiler here, if you're watching this review not having seen it, thinking you're going to watch the crossover, go over on the CW Seed or the CW app or whatever, watch it now, then come back, because I am going to spoil some stuff here. And Professor Stein dies. He passes away in this event. And that was, man, they just did it so well. So it wasn't spectacle, because they had been building on this storyline between Jax and Professor Stein throughout this whole current season of Legends of Tomorrow. This has been something they've been dealing with, trying to split up Firestorm, because Professor Stein has been wanting to go back and spend time with his grandson. And it's just been a great story arc, trying to reconcile their relationship together as sort of a adoptive father and son. Really powerful, emotional, well done storyline throughout the season. And then to have it culminate in this event was powerfully done. Really gut-wrenching when Professor Stein dies. I mean, and the actors, I mean, the guy playing Jax, I forget his name, but he, in his grief, you believed it. You felt it. It was just heart-wrenching. It really was. And, especially if, you're like me and love Legends of Tomorrow and love the characters, of Professor Stein and such. So really, really well done there. And it didn't feel like spectacle. It felt like something that was natural, but really, really emotional. So I love that. I don't love the fact that he died, but I think it was just well done and handled well written, well performed. So now let's switch on over to the negatives. First, let me tackle some of the plot holes. And again, you're watching a CW series. I don't expect everything to be airtight just because of the nature of the show and the network it's on. Typically, shows aren't 100% airtight in the writing and in the process. You got great performances by a great cast. You got cool story ideas, but plot holes are a thing that I've just learned to accept on that setting. But when the plot holes just start to pile up, it really takes you out of the story, and it just doesn't allow you to have fun anymore, because you just can't believe it anymore. The suspension of disbelief becomes too difficult. So the first big plot hole is during the wedding of Barry and Iris, and the Earth X doppelgangers, the Nazis, come to the wedding. They have Eobard Thawne with them, who's from Earth 1. He's from our Earth, and how is he still alive? This universe of these shows has the possibility of time travel, has the possibility of doppelgangers on separate Earths. It's even set some of the precedent for altering reality with the Spear of Destiny and stuff in a previous Legends of Tomorrow season. So why would you not explain how Eobard Thawne is suddenly alive again here? It was nice to see the actor, I'm blanking on his name now again, but the actor who plays Wells, it was nice to see him play Eobard Thawne again. But how is he alive? He's not only has the Flash seen him die, but then he also came back as a time remnant, which was kind of fuzzily explained anyway in Legends of Tomorrow, but you accepted it because it was so cool to see the Legion of Doom and everything. And then they really decidedly wiped him out. That was the end. The Speed Force Justice Angel or whatever, came back and completely obliterated him and knocked him out of existence. So how the hell is he back? It's fine if you want to bring him back, but don't. They literally, Eobard just said, time travel's funny. And then they just rolled with it. And no one really questioned it. And that's just ridiculous. You've got a story like that. If you're going to bring a character like that back, you have the means to do it. Spend a few moments explaining it. That's ridiculous. But anyway, so they've got the characters. Our heroes don't know the Nazis are there. They don't even know they exist. So the doppelgangers, the Earth X Nazis have 100% advantage here. They have the surprise attack. Later on in the show, you find out that the only one they want alive, the only one they need is Supergirl, so that they can take her heart and put her into her doppelganger's body. So they don't need any of the other heroes. As their doppelgangers, they know how dangerous and how powerful these characters are. Eobard Thawne even knows, coming from our Earth, coming from the future of our Earth, he even knows how powerful and how dangerous to their plans these heroes are. So in their great big surprise attack, where they could take out anybody in that room they wanted to, they shoot the priest. How does this make any sense? They could have shot Barry. Not that, it should have been explained or worked out in the story why they couldn't have shot Barry, but they never bothered doing that. So it's this big gaping plot hole. If you're the villains there, you're going to take out the heavy hitters first in that first surprise attack, not the priest. Who cares about him? That was just a really hard plot hole to get over. And it continued too. It continued to deepen because when the Earth Xers finally capture our heroes, they don't need them alive. Again, they only need Supergirl. They're only interested in keeping Supergirl alive, but they don't kill our heroes. No, they capture them and then take them back to Earth X. Don't even kill them then yet. They put them in the cage with all of the other prisoners. Still don't kill them there. They've got these collars on to dampen their powers, and they're capable. Still don't kill them there. No, Lance comes and marches them out of the cage, out to freedom, out to a big wide open field where they're going to do the shooting squad over the open graves. And that's incredibly stupid. No wonder Citizen Cold saves them. I mean, it's like they gave them every opportunity to escape. Big gaping plot hole. Really, really silly. So, that was a major plot hole. Then, once our heroes escape and they're free on Earth X, you've got the doppelganger of your Fuhrer is free and at large on your universe. You're telling me that they wouldn't let the military know across the entire planet? I mean, they wouldn't let the whole military know, hey, be careful. If you think the Fuhrer is showing up, it's actually going to be Oliver Queen of Earth 1. You know, they didn't do that. So Oliver Queen just gets to pose as the Fuhrer because, you know, the plot needs a device to get them into the facility. And it was really cheap, really bad writing not to account for that somehow. That was a silly plot hole. So a couple of other plot holes toward the end. Why did Barry let Thawne go? He would never do that. He's about to get married. He has all these people he cares about. This is the same Thawne who posed as Harrison Wells for all that time. He knows every intimate way to tear Barry down, and Barry doesn't want to kill him, and that's fine. Barry shouldn't kill him. Barry shouldn't cross that line, but they have power dampening cuffs. That's the thing in this universe. It's the thing that Barry uses all the time on villains. Why wouldn't he have had those? Why wouldn't he have placed those? I mean, he completely defeated Thawne. Thawne was at his mercy, and he just lets him go. See you around. Catch you later. Hopefully you don't, sneak in a flash and kill everybody I love next time, but, I'm taking that risk. You can do that, so goodbye. Utterly ridiculous plot hole. Too hard to get over and just enjoy the story at that moment. That was really stupid. Also, I know that they're setting things up in this crisis to continue working out in the series, but why did Citizen Cold, why did Leo, Leonard Snart's doppelganger on Earth X, why did he stay behind? That whole scene was so silly. It's okay if you don't want to reveal everything yet, if you want to reveal his full, totality of his reasons or whatever later on, but at least have that to be more of a believable scene when he's telling the Ray that he's going to stay behind. I mean, it's just sort of like, okay, hey, I mean, they're lovers. So, I mean, it's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to stay on this other Earth for a while. Yeah, just got some stuff I need to take care of. Not going to tell you when I'm coming back or anything, but, not even going to tell you why I'm leaving or staying here, but, bye. And and then the Ray just leaves and everything's fine. That was bad. That was horrible writing. That was just, we need to hurry up and get through the scene quickly. We haven't allowed enough time or development to show why Snart should stay behind. So let's just hurry up and do the scene real quick and hope nobody, questions it. That was silly. Maybe let the Ray in on the secret or whatever and don't let the audience in on it yet. If you want to reveal it later, that's fine. So that was really silly. That was pretty much the extent of the plot holes, but they were pretty gaping. The other few issues I had, the politics that were not in service of the story. And this was a thing I was very sensitive to going into this story because of the subject matter of the story. So Earth X, and the fact that Earth X is a alternate universe that does exist where the Nazis won World War II and the Nazis run the world. That is a thing in the comics, long standing piece of the DC universe. So that's fine. And that's a good story arc to bring about right now because we do have the whole Nazis and white supremacy and those tensions in recent cultural memory here. I actually live in Charlottesville. I was born and raised in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I live here where those attacks and where the focal point of the media and everything was. So I'm very close to the tensions and the reality of it. And it's sickening enough when media in general just tries to use it for political advancement or career advancement or whatever. But it's really upsetting when art does that. So it was a great idea to tell this story. I thought that's great because good art should reflect the tensions and the things that are going on in a culture at a time. So this was a timely thing. It was a real thing from the DC universe to have Earth X, and that was a great thing to cross over and have our heroes fight real Nazis. That's wonderful. Maybe it could address and provide a little catharsis for the real tensions and everything that was going on, and are still going on in the country. So that was a great idea, but there were just these too many moments where it was very clear that the writers, producers were more worried about just sort of having their say and getting in some little rant line. I mean, some of the times, some of the dialogue that they wrote and made some of the characters say might have well just been angry Twitter pissy fights or whatever. It was just ridiculous. Like there's the one when someone makes the comment, "Make America Aryan again," because it never was. You know, that's something that somebody would just lash out on Twitter like. I mean, they specifically used the slogan from Donald Trump's campaign in there. Now, I don't have no problem with that. I mean, I'm not no supporter of Donald Trump, but it didn't service the story. So it takes you out of the story because it's just the writers and producers trying to vent. And that's really annoying. And that's bad writing. Given that they're already doing that, I wasn't sure if having the Nazis kill the priest first, is that possibly some sort of political thing? I don't know, maybe, but it could go either way. Then there's the amount of time spent gratuitously on the fact that there are homosexual relationships in the show. So it's fine to put homosexual relationships in the show. That exists. That should be in fiction as well. An example of Alex and Sarah hookup, I just explained how that's an example of how to do it in a way that does naturally, organically come out of the character story arcs that they're in right now, and that was great. But when they introduced the Ray with Leonard Snart of Earth X, and those two were in a relationship, that was everything they did about that relationship was purely gratuitous. It was just a machination, the whole thing for General Slot to refuse the heroes access to the portal to go back home. The whole reason he did that was so you could have this scene where Snart goes to talk to the Ray, and then they give a shocking moment, when they kiss, and now you find out they're together. Well, so what? So what? Just mention that they were together beforehand or whatever. Don't make it such this, moment you had to, take that audience, and it didn't service the story in any way. And then ask yourself how many times per episode or even per season you see Barry and Iris kiss. How many times per season do you see Joe and what's her name, his girlfriend kiss? How many times do you see Oliver and Felicity kiss when they're together? You see them some. You should see them show affection here and there. But it's ridiculous how much in every scene, like once they did the reveal, like in every scene, Snart's got to have his tongue down the Ray's throat, or they've just got to be so overly affectionate, and the producers are just trying to show you, we're showing a homosexual relationship, and if you don't like it there, take that, you homophobes, or whatever. It just felt, and the problem wasn't that they're doing that. The problem is that they're indulging in character behavior that doesn't service the story, but rather just services their own agendas or messages that they're trying to push. You don't need to make a homosexual relationship in the story an agenda at all. Just put it in there. It's a thing in real life. Let it be a thing in the story. People just have to see it and deal with it. That's fine. You don't need to have them groping each other every scene practically. That was just really silly. So little things like that. And honestly, I'm probably kind of sensitive to this after having seen it for so long in the Supergirl show. And that's why I'm probably a little overly sensitive to it. But still, on any of these things too, like even the plot, the holes and stuff like that, if it was just a couple of them or any, few of them or whatever, it wouldn't have been such an issue. But when they're just all piled up on top of each other, come on. It just gets really old. And then finally, the last thing that I had an issue with, which ties into this whole maybe possible political statement thing, is when Oliver kills his evil doppelganger. Oliver Queen can kill. He's decided he's going to try not to kill as much as possible. But, it's still the precedent is set. If the situation truly calls for it, Oliver Queen can kill, as they've developed him in this universe, that Oliver Queen can kill if the need arises. But the need did not arise. The need was not there. He was fighting his doppelganger, and his doppelganger is married to the evil Supergirl. Evil Supergirl blows up in the sky, and evil Oliver turns around, is completely distracted, is just mourning his wife there for a second, and our hero, our Oliver Queen, just stares at him with his bow drawn until he turns around and then comes at Oliver, and then he shoots an arrow into his heart. that was completely gratuitous. We know that Oliver has those wonderful arrows that wrap people up, tie them up or whatever. He could have shot him with one of those or one of the stun gun arrows or whatever when he had his back turned. I mean, he could have done he could have subdued evil Oliver in any number of ways. But no, he was wanting to make the point to shoot him through the heart. And it felt like a very gratuitous moment, even like the way they slowed it down and showed Oliver's face afterward. It was just kind of like that sentiment again that happened directly after the stuff that happened here in Charlottesville. It was like, just punch Nazis. They're, they're not good for anything. You just gotta punch them. That's the only way to deal with Nazis. You just go out and punch some Nazis, That is an emotional response that is only going to breed more anger and more hatred. And people still, even to this day, don't understand that or get that. One of the horrors of Nazism and white supremacy or any kind of mentality or philosophy like that is that it others people. It tries to dehumanize people that it's against. So if you're of any other race or sexual orientation or whatever, it tries to treat you as less than human so that it can do all of these horrible things to you. That's bad. You don't want to do that. But when you turn around and do that to the Nazis themselves, well, then you're just taking on an element of Nazism yourself. If Nazis are less than human now to you, if they're just, the only way to deal with them is just punch them. And, then you're being somewhat of a Nazi yourself to that point, to that extent. And it's fine to reference the punching Nazis from Indiana Jones and to have those little moments. And of course, have them fight because this is a war, definitely. But that moment where he just sort of gratuitously killed evil Oliver was really, it was unnecessary, and it felt like, again, the writers and producers having their little say in it, and it just took it out of the story. So I guess, I spent obviously a lot more time in this review talking about the negatives than I did the positives, but it's because I really love these characters so much, and I'm really having fun in the Flareoverse. And so it really disappoints me a lot when such a cool event like this, a cool story idea like Crisis on Earth X comes about, and it's just really kind of overweighed by all of these negatives. That really bugs me because I do love it. So I'm not a hater of the Flareoverse by any means. Again, Legends of Tomorrow is one of my favorite shows ever. I'm definitely going to do a video on that, why I think it really shines out in this universe and gets a great treatment from the writers and whatnot. There's some specific reasons I believe that is the case, but that's for another video. I'd love to know your thoughts about Crisis on Earth X. What were some things that either bothered you or some things you thought were excellent and awesome and really enjoyed? Like I said, there's a lot of wonderful moments and wonderful relationships and character and saves and intros and all kinds of stuff to really enjoy and be excited about too. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the superhero stories you love. Thanks for watching.